Good evening, everybody. This is Luisa Wojtowicz-Braga from EduNation and our wonderful guest, Gosia Klecun, who will be talking to you and inspiring you tonight. Before I switch off, because as you know, sometimes I have a role of a presenter, and but very often I have the very pleasant role of a hostess. I will very, very briefly welcome everybody. It is absolutely unbelievable that it is summer. I'm sure that most of you are in the middle of their, or maybe just at the beginning, I don't know, of their summer leaves and summer holidays, but you are here with us. And it always, how to say that? It puzzles me, it inspires me, it fascinates me to see that teachers, even when they are supposed to be resting, they still find time at 9:00 p.m. to join EduNation and EduNation Global for their regular webinars. It is fascinating, isn't it, Gosia?
Yes, it is. It is absolutely and inspiring at the same time.
And also very motivating to do more and more of these things. So thank you very much, wonderful attendees. Now, I can see that you are already saying hello and you are saying where you are joining us from. So please continue. I see people from Poland as always, so witajcie kochani, nasi uczestnicy z Polski. I can see people from Slovakia, ahoy, and from the Czech Republic, ahoy. Let me see who else said where they are from, and maybe I will be able to say something in this language, but I hope, let's wait, maybe someone else will say where they are from. Who else was there? I see now, Ukraine. Привет. That I know very well. We have had lots of guests. Romania, I don't know. I'm sorry. Romania, I don't know. But I will. I promise. I will educate myself. I will educate myself before the next webinar. So please come in 2 weeks' time, and hopefully I will be better. Привет, witajcie, ahoy, and hello to everybody. Okay, is there anybody who is here who has never been with us? Is it the first time with EduNation and EduNation's webinar for anybody? Buonasera. Oh, thank you. Almost like buonasera in Spanish. Привет, Ukraine. Привет. Good to see you guys. All right. So if there is anybody who has never been with us, let me tell you that the EduNation's webinars are more or less 60. Oh, Justyna, you are from Poland and this is your first time in EduNation's webinars. Hello, witaj kochana, musisz wracać we wtorki i w czwartki, nie tylko w czwartki. Zapraszamy serdecznie. The rules of the house are that the webinar is more or less 60 minutes long. So if you are in CET, it means that we will finish around 10:00 p.m., plus minus 2 minutes. Those of you who, for some reason, need to leave earlier, don't worry, there will be recording coming tomorrow to your email addresses, along with the certificate. A lot of people are asking about the certificate. So yes, of course, for all the people registered, there will be certificates. What else? We are always trying to be super nice towards each other in the chat, because webinars are such events in which there are two lives. There is the webinar live, which means the content given by the presenter, so Gosia tonight, but there's also the second life of the webinar, and that is the chat. And we always try to show to the world that EduNation's attendees and teachers in our community are the best, the nicest, the most well-behaved people in the world. So let's prove tonight that it's the same situation. So, and I think this is more or less it. Please stay until the end if you can, because at the very end, I will be telling you about a fantastic event that we are organizing on the 24th of September. And I'm going to have a special offer for you for this event. So stay until the end, don't miss the end. And I'm going to leave you right now with Gosia, who will be talking about at least in Poland. I don't know about the rest of the world here with us, but there is this tool called Gosha, what is the tool called that you are going to talk?
Quizlet.
Of
Quizlet.
course, who else? What else if not Quizlet? So Gosha will be giving us the ins and outs of Quizlet. There is lots of new functions, and those of you who have used Quizlet, you will learn a lot. Those of you who have never used Quizlet, is this possible? You will definitely learn a lot too. So Gosha is the expert of Quizlet, aren't you, Gosha? Gosha knows everything.
Yes, I'm a fan of Quizlet, first of
Fan and
all.
expert and a professional Quizlet user. And of course, Gosia also is one of the best English teachers in Poland. So I hope you will be learning from her, and a fantastic person, because I know her and I have
Thank
known her for a
you.
very, very long time. So, okay, enough of these pleasantries. I'm gone. For the next 15 minutes, I will be oh, hi, Kay. Good to see you again. You were asking me in an email about where the next webinar is going to be. So, oh, and Hannah is here with us. Hannah from the Czech Republic. Ahoy, Hannah. All right, and I have to go because I will be welcoming individually every single attendee, and there is over 100 people right now. So I'm going. All right,
Okay.
Gosia, I'm leaving you, but I'm here. So if you need anything from me, just say Louisa.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. All right. Have a great time.
Thank you. Okay. So, hello everyone. Nice to see you. I hope I can share with you my ways of using Quizlet. And I honestly hope, just like Louisa said, and rightly so, another life of webinars is the chat. So if you have any other ideas how to use Quizlet, how you are using Quizlet during your classes, please share so we can educate each other, because I know I'm talking to experts here. Uh, um, not only me as an expert, but the experts at the other end listening to me. Okay, so Quizlet Secrets Revealed. This is the title of my presentation. I must tell you that I'm an avid fan of Quizlet. I have been using it. I was trying to count before that presentation, over like almost 10 years now. I've been using it, and I wanted to persuade you that it is worth using. Definitely worth using. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so my name is Gosia. I called myself for this presentation a Quizlet queen, as you can see. But why do I use Quizlet? Because of the second title, Free Time and Coffee Manager. So of all the teaching roles, my favorite one is the facilitator. I love facilitating my students to do things themselves, and Quizlet is one of those very easy, I would even call simplistic tools that allow me to do that. I'm also a director of study and a senior teacher at a language school. I used to teach in public high schools and schools. I've got over 20 years of experience. So I feel I'm the right person talking about the right thing. That means the Quizlet. Let's move on. So we are going to talk about the price, just to deal with the elephant in the room here. The set, the games, the expert, the testing, and even more. I like to keep my presentations simple and practical. If you have any practical ideas about it, please share. I will try to look at the chat. I'm getting better and better in dividing my attention. But if you see that I skipped a question, I will come back to it at the end of the presentation if there is still time. So that's my statistics. I've been using Quizlet since 2014. I've created that many sets myself, and I've been creating Quizlets, both for my students and myself, in 6 languages, because apart from all the things I previously said about me, I'm language learner myself. Languages learner, should I say. Okay, so let's defuse the bomb right now. There is a free version of Quizlet, and there is something called Quizlet Plus. What do we get for paying about $50 a year? So it's not much, let's face it, when you compare prices of Quizlet to other games available on the market. It's not a lot. Plus, there are discounts around Black Friday, Teachers' Day, and Christmas Day, and so on. Plus, there are also referral codes here and there. So you can lower the price, but is it really worth it? Is it really worth paying? Let me be frank with you. I'm paying for it, but on the other hand, I must say that apart from all the features that you get from the paid version of Quizlet, I use just couple. For example, tracking students' progress is important for some students, for certain purposes. For me, it's not that important, honestly. Even if I tell my students I track their progress, I often don't. Because, well, it's them who are supposed to be working with that tool, not me. But what I love about it, oh, great. Plus version for just a few. Well, that's the point. That's the point. I remember I bought mine for a 90% discount or something like that. So it was also really cheap. But coming back to my ideas, so I scan the text with the app. It's only available in Quizlet Plus. I use multiple choice questions. You can add more options to each of the definitions in the Quizlet Quizlet Plus version. I allow my students to record the answer, the words, the vocabulary, or the sentences, because in Quizlet Plus version you're allowed to do your own recordings, and frankly speaking, for me it feels a little bit more natural than this mechanic auto-generated, although they are fine. I mean, especially if you have sentences, single words, without the context, I think they're good enough. But it's just more fun, and it prompts my students to practice speaking, and they try hard to be universally understood, let's call it this way. They challenge their accents, they challenge their pronunciation, so that's really nice. And I would say that's it. So I use only 4 options out of the of other paid features. There is you can insert your own pictures. For example, I never do that. You can insert your own graphs into Quizlet. I never do that. Maybe someone of you does that, but I don't. There is a reason to it. I try to keep my workload at the minimum, and this is what I always do in my teaching. I told you already, I'm a facilitator, not the workaholic here. But I find those 3 plus the recordings enough to pay for it. If you don't want to pay for it, I'm going to use the options I'm going to be presenting to you. Most of them are free. So I can easily imagine somebody who is just using Quizlet for free and not bothering with the paid version. Okay, so Quizlet works in the form of sets. You create the sets, you organize them in folders, you organize those folders into classes, or you keep the folders and the classes separately. Classes can be combined of your students. In the free version, there is a limited number of classes and folders. In the plus version, there is unlimited version number of classes and folders, but it depends if you need that many or not, right? So it's not a disadvantage, really. The set, this is how it looks, or the options that you can use with the set is, first of all, you can copy anything that was made by a different teacher. You can copy, so that limits the work, that limits your work. Basically, you can just use the ready-made sets, or you can create them yourself from a scratch. You can also use the course book copies prepared by the editors in Poland. Pearson, Macmillan, Express Publishing, you name it, they are making and creating the sets. So that's really useful, and you can copy them and edit them for your own use. You can also share it with your students, and you can also combine it. I'm going to talk about those versions later. First, let's concentrate on a raw set. What can we do with the set, right? So, well, first of all, you can print it. As you can see, there are different sizes of layouts. I don't like the glossary. I never use the glossary. But other than that, the small, medium, and large version are just creating a sort of table. Quizlet is designed in such a way that you have two columns. What you're going to put in the columns is up to you. You can use ready-made definitions. You can write your own definitions. You can put sentences. You can split the sentence into two columns. I'm going to be showing that. You can create an answer or a key to the sentences in a different column. You can work with grammar. You can work with vocabulary. Think of Quizlet as a huge database. Nothing more, nothing less. Databases are universal. Whatever you want to use with, whatever you want to do with them, you can. And this is how I've been using Quizlet, big part of my teaching life, let's face it, as a database, as a collection of sets. Whether I'm going to just use them once and abandon them, or am I going to come back to them every year, every month, with every level, every group on that level, it's totally up to me, and it's totally up to my students. Thanks to that, you're recycling your own work. And this is one of the things that I would like you to remember after this session. If you are doing the work once and once only, it's a time wasted. If you're doing the work, if you're choosing the words, choosing the vocabulary, if you're thinking about it, try to make it universal enough for you to reuse it, or even better, for your students to reuse it. You've worked enough by, taking your time to think about it, about the content. The rest can be up to them. If you offer them a tool that's straightforward enough for them to be able to understand how it works, you are the winners. You're winning your free time, and you're winning your coffee during the lesson or after the lesson. So this is one of the a random set. I was just trying to illustrate it with my random set. So this is one of the random set I printed, and as you can see, I just copied the graphics into the presentation. If I have online classes, I put it on the screen. If I have real classrooms, I don't know how to call it, in class activities, I print it out and I give it to my students, or I just show it on a whiteboard because I work with whiteboards. So what can I do with that? That's B1 plus, I guess, level. So I can choose the numbers, ask the students, like, give me the numbers from 37 to 54, and students give me 5 numbers. So please, my dear students, give me 5 numbers. Let's have some fun. I've got 7. It's 37 to 54 because you don't know what's number 7. 48. Okay, good. We have 51, 47, 48. Okay, great. You've got some numbers there. Now, can you make a sentence in third conditional with 5 of that numbers? The sentence can be as long as you want. I just want the structure, and I want all 5 numbers of your choice. The words are on the screen. So while I'm waiting for the sentences, I hope you can see where this is going. One of the rules of creativity is to limit the input, right? This is what I'm doing with Quizlet sets. I'm limiting the input of my students. The sets are either created by me. This one is actually copied from the Pearson's set, or they are created together with my students. The point is that the words are like, I want my students to use them. So if I ask them to write a third conditional structure using 5 of those words, if I hadn't been so hopeless yesterday, I wouldn't have got that painful injury. There you go. Well done. So I'm asking about the structure, I'm asking about the word. If I print it out, I can create games. Just build a board game with the printed words or with the printed definitions. And if I hadn't been so competitive and childish, I would have won this energetic and accessible contest. I have a feeling that there are 5 words. If I hadn't been so childish, it would have been worth it. Well done. If you have enough of those sentences, you could ask your students later on to write the whole story where actually those sentences would be parts of the plot. You can ask them to take the sentences, write them on the board, put them in the groups, and ask them to change just one word in that sentence, again using the list, but only one word, and so on. So as you can see, it's just a database, it's just a tool, it's waiting there for me. My students can see it, they have them like all the time with them, they are working with the list, part of the lesson or all the lesson. couple of lessons if we are doing the unit. We are using it during the revision, of course, but we are prepared from lesson 1 on that unit. We know which of the words, what part of the vocabulary I'm going to, what kind of teach them, right? Which of the vocabulary and structures I'm interested in, I would like to elicit from them. Oh God, had we not been so hopeless in our efforts, we would have never sustained those dreadful injuries. That sounds not a B1 plus level. Well done, guys. Well done. You can use the words as prompts for the lesson. Whatever is the question, they have to use the word from the list in their answer. They cross it out, and then we find out who was the most effective one at using the words, right? I usually print the lists out, or they have it in their phones. It doesn't really matter. They cross them out, and either we set a challenge that the more words for one lesson you use, the better, or we try to use all the words from the list, I don't know, 100 words during 1 month, right? This is the usual time I cover the unit in 1 month. So this is how I work with the list. You can change the word class, add a prefix. You can rephrase the created sentences. That's what I told you. So we have this one, like if sentences changed into, for example, inversions, just like Justina used, right? Instead of using if. You can do that, of course. You can print both columns, a question, and ask the students to talk about those things. Why are animals important to us? This is one of my sets of speaking. I create all the speaking sets, all the questions that we invented, we put in Quizlet under that category. For exam classes, like IELTS or FCE advanced, first advanced, or for national exams, 8th graders exam, Matura exam. This is great. We are creating a whole sets of questions related to that topic, and we go over and over them again. But well, this is just a standard question. So my students just get slips of paper. Sometimes they're just waiting for them. We still have 3 minutes till the end of the lesson. Okay, a round of questions, right? We finished the test early. Great. How about some questions? We finished already 3 units in the book. We have the questions related to 3 units in a waiting there for us. So this is how I work. I recycle all the time. But what happens if I do something like that? I just give them the ends of the question. Can you please give me an idea of having zoos? How can I complete the question? Let's see, maybe somebody has a great idea about it. Give me the beginning of those questions so that are you suspicious of zoos? I like it. What are the pros and cons, of course? What's the idea of? Exactly. So imagine that you're working with B1 plus, B2 levels. where asking questions generally something that they have to get used to. This way of presenting the questions generates a totally new perspective for them. They don't have the beginnings, they have the ends. Of course, you can give them the beginnings and ask them to complete the ends, but that's more standard. So I decided to go uh, look at it from the back. Have you ever dreamed of having zoos? Okay, I love it. There you go. Here are is my set of famous movie quotes. And again, it consists of a famous quote and the name of a movie. I give them the names of the movies. Anybody remembers any famous quote? From Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? 1937? No, anything at all. Perfect. My precious, play it again, Sam. Hasta la vista. Of course. So, as you can see, and so it begins. Great. There you go. So, what I'm doing here is I'm eliciting their previous knowledge. I've got fans of films. I've got people who thrive on memes. I can do that with students of different ages. They are sometimes surprisingly. Of course, I can make it easier. I can just cut the quotes and the names of the film, and I can ask them to match. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. You shall not pass. Exactly. So there you go. As you can see, it's engaging. We can then share ideas. We can group according to the quotes that we've invented. Apart from, like, instead of having a really straightforward one solution activity, by just removing one of the columns from your tasks, you suddenly open the database. They can bring as much input as they want. All I did was create a set. I remember creating it a couple of years ago and adding quotes here and there with different groups. Suddenly, I end up with having over 50 quotes in my set. I didn't do anything. Honestly, I didn't do much to create it. I just prompted my students. This is what they did. Houston's, we have a problem. That was my first thought, actually. So remember, Quizlet is a database. It allows you to do anything with the content. If you think a little bit outside of the box, you get open questions instead of matching, just simple matching. Sometimes matching is good. I'm not saying, I have nothing against matching, but sometimes it's just removal of one column opens up the whole new perspective. There you go. This is the original set. There are 3 games in Quizlet. They are all free, and all of them are fantastic. Checkpoint is the newest baby. It's something like Kahoot. If you're familiar with Kahoot, it's just Kahoot, taking into account that I will offer you some other ways to, make it a little bit more exciting. Honestly, I don't use it very often. My favorite game is Classic Life. Classic Life allows you to play with a group of students in your class on the set, using the set. And have you ever played Classic Live? The point is that you're playing as a team and you have to match. It's simple matching. The point is that only one of you, one of the members of the team, will have correct answer, correct match. That means you have to be mindful. You cannot just randomly click on the sentences, because you can eliminate a player who has the right answer. But you can sit your students together, let them change places and work together as a team, especially if they are of mixed abilities and they don't feel so well about the vocabulary, if they are just learning it. Of course, it doesn't have to be the word and the translation. It can be also a sentence with a gap plus the right word to complete it. But you can also refuse them to change places, and they have to play as a team but without consultation. That's mean, but that's very effective. You can hear, silence in the class. Everybody is thinking so hard. I love Classic Life. I really do. My students like it either. I think I can honestly say that this is the best cooperative game I've come across, because you're playing as a team. Only one person in a team always has the right match, so you can help each other or not. You're playing for the team, but everybody plays independently, but you have the motivation for the team to win. And if you make a mistake, the scores go to zero, so you're actually going through the whole game again. The game is not great if you have very big differences, like very mixed abilities. Then you have to choose your uh, um, group members wisely. But it's also doable. You can either put students in the teams randomly, or you can assign them in the teams, and then you can control it a little bit more. Matching is, again, a very simple activity. You can do it on a whiteboard. But if you write match, if you play this game, here in this address at the end, you have match, and then the screen looks like that. If you write micro match, so if you change the word match to micro match, you will get this very elegant layout. It's if you play on an app, it's like that from the beginning. But on the whiteboard in a computer, you've got this a little bit messy layout. I don't like it very much. I prefer this one. So instead of match, you write micro match, and you get this very beautiful layout. But, well, there are only 3 games. Nothing further from the truth. You can use your sets in all those games, in quizzes, in Kahoot, word wall. What's your favorite? Have you been using? I've got also Blocket, Quizlet, and Gimkit. Who is using what? Let's see. My favorite is word wall. And my students' favorite is Blocket. Yes, all of them. So if you are using all of them, then you will find Quizlet absolutely useful, because you can take any Quizlet set, you can just import it, export it, to a given game, and you will have your own set created in that game. How to do that? Oh, wait a second. Export. Export is live. Exporting sets from Quizlet is live. You go to export and you get this kind of window with you copy the text. You cannot edit it, you cannot do anything about copying it, but then you can paste it anywhere because it's in a text form. You can paste it into one of the games that I've just talked about. You just open, create a set, and you just do copy paste. But you can also copy it into a standard Word document. You can copy it into Excel, into Jamboard, in in email for your students, you name it. You can copy it into a document and ask your students to create different sentences with it. Not the ones that are already there, but to change them into questions, change the grammar structure, change the tense. Sky's the limit, really. Students are doing it for you. You can check it and you have a totally new set. You can save it as a new set with the same vocabulary that you have already been working. You get a totally new value. Okay, I'm going to talk about export first. So you export it to all sorts of course you can print it, as you can see. You can also combine the sets. You click combine, again combine on one of the sets, and here you get all the other sets available, and you just, by clicking it, you just get a combination of few sets, and you can either create a brand new set, or you can just use it for exporting. You can just use it for testing, which I'm going to be using in a sec. So those are the options of a test. The test can be done online, or it can be printed. And as you can see, I can decide what kind of questions I want to have. So, for example, I rarely use matching because I like my tests to be creative, but I often just let the program choose. As you can see here, I had 20 questions out of over 200. You can, of course, decide on your own number, and you can choose true false, which is quite easy, or written form, where you just get a place for writing. And for example, I ask my students to write sentences with the words of the choice. You can also choose from all the words from the set, or just from the stars. You can put stars next to the vocabulary elements that you find more important or more interesting for any other reason. And you can also get the answers in the form of term or definition. So the first column or the second column, both the columns. But they are just names, right? The term and the definition. You don't have to have term and definition. You can, in place of a definition, you can have gap fill exercises. There will be a link to the recording tomorrow in email. You can get you can write gap fill sentences, and you can in the test you can just click this answer with a definition, and you will have just the sentences, and students have to provide their own word. So you get a perfectly nice test. What is more, there is a key to it waiting. They can use the sets themselves. They can sign up as students. By the way, I always recommend my students, if they sign up to an app or to a game, English game, sign up as teachers. There's usually one or two options more, even in a free version, than students. What else? Okay, so let's go to my beautiful picture. First of all, if we printed out the tests, we can use props. So, for example, you take a dice and roll the dice using the word. Everybody takes 6 words from your set that has been cut out, and they have to they have to put the words in a story according to the number of the dice. Or they can, you say a definition, and they use fly swatters, and they have to hit one of the words on the table. Or they are telling a story using the words that are lying in front of them, and whenever they run out of ideas for the story, they take a ball or something to throw, and they throw at another students to continue the story. The point of the game is not to lose the fluency. So whenever you want to say you just have to throw the ball to somebody else to continue the game, right? I'm also using those blocks for kids. Where is my camera? Here. As you can see, this is like a normal plastic block, and the size of it is perfect for, I think, medium column of medium print of the set. So I take a couple of blocks like that. I just stick with a sticky tape the printed out sets, and we roll them. We try to match them. On one dice, I've got the vocabulary elements. On the other one, I've got the definitions. And one group is rolling the dice and saying the words, and then the other group is rolling the definitions and trying to match the one, and so on. So there is also, in a picture, you have also a paper tape, just like when you're painting, like redecorating an apartment, and you want to cover some of the elements so that they don't get painted. I stick it to the floor, creating a board game simply. And we place different elements of the vocabulary inside the the squares on the floor. We roll the dice, and we kind of walk through the game doing whatever I want them to do, making sentences, creating stories, answering the gap fill exercises or the word formation, for example, and so on and so forth. Since it is a very simple layout of 2 columns, you can use the sets of Quizlet to group the students into pairs. So find your pair, or group them into groups, because nobody said that you can have only one, like you can only have a question divided in 2. What happens if you divide the question in 4 squares? print them out, and you have the 4 elements. Or you've got one word, picture, another word, picture, and you cut it up in 4. Again, you students can find each other's group. They don't work in the same pair as every day. They have to change. For fast finishers, I just print out the sets, the Quizlet sets, created in such a way that they are definitions, for example, or there are sentences or words and another word class of the same family, and I just give them one column, and they simply do it because they have time. For warm-ups or cool downs, the questions, I start the question because I have one half of it. Then another student finishes the question because they have another part of it, and gives the name and for example answers the question at the same time. Homework that actually makes sense. I'm not a fan of homework that it's only about, exercising. I like when my students have to do the homework because we are going to do something with it the next time. So when I say, okay, so you have to make up a set. Okay, so now you have to take the set and create one more sentences with it. They know that we are going to be working on a test, on a set. They know that this is something that we are creating towards our goal, be it an exam or just remembering the vocabulary that they are struggling with. I wanted to say one more thing. I just lost the track of mind. Oh, I know. When you're creating your own set or you're copying somebody else's set, you can predefine, first of all, the language of both columns. Second of all, who is going to have access? Is it public? Is it just for your students? And who can edit it? So I give my students a link and they work on my set. To be fair, with some groups especially, I do make a copy. But since making copies in Quizlet is so easy, I'm not bothered. If they want to cheat and get rid of some of the elements of vocabulary, I still have a hard copy. But honestly, it doesn't happen to me very often. I'm just saying it because I know there are different people in that world and different students in that world. So you can always, if you want to work with students like that on your own material, in order not to lose your own work, it's better to be safe than sorry. Just make a copy. Sometimes somebody deletes it just by mistake, right? So, but my students are working actually on my sets. So I have a Quizlet Plus, so they can do, they can, for example, record the answers. They love it. They can record reading the sentences. They can edit my own sets, and this is how we do it. That's why I have so many sets, and believe me, I've created probably 30% of them, the rest is my students' job. So this is the end, basically, of my presentation. I hoped you liked it. I hoped you found it interesting, and I hope you found it resourceful. I really would like to persuade you to have this mindset of working on the tools that are universal, and at the same time, they are accessible to everyone, because sometimes younger students have no problem with Kahoot or something like that, but older students, middle-aged students, like, too much fun, it's not real learning. Kahoot has this, Quizlet has this very standard, very traditional design. It's not fancy, it's not entertaining, really. It looks boring, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be boring. It can be whatever you want it to be. And being such a universal tool, being with us so many years, believe me, there is no course book, no unit, no level that hasn't been created yet. Can I use the sets of other teachers? Yes, you can, of course.
Gosha, you are such a star. It was extremely educational and very, very, very entertaining. I loved your session very much. Thank you very, very, very much for wanting to present on this July evening. I promised, and there is lots of thank yous. Should you have any questions right now, please don't hesitate. Gosha will be here still, because I will be talking right now for the last 3 minutes until 10 p.m. I will be telling you about something that I promised from at the very beginning when I was welcoming you. Now it is summer and we are not really thinking that much. Hopefully that September, I don't know about your countries, the school year in the traditional public school year in Poland begins on the 1st of September. So we are not thinking that much yet about what's going to be, but EduNation thinks about the future and autumn very, very much. And we have prepared a new fantastic project for you. And I will show you this project right now, and please don't go, because at the very end I will have something for you. Let me just see what I want to show you. At the last Saturday of September, we are inviting you to the next fantastic conference for English teachers that is aimed at showing you different aspects of fluency, and the title of this conference is Fluency Now. So we've never done this before. It's a brand new conference, of course, online conference, as everything that EduNation does and EduNation Global does. Let me just, do you see? Yes, you see everything that I'm showing you. So it's the 24th of September, starting from the very early morning, 9 o'clock a.m. CET. And let me show you, you can, I will give you the address of this webpage that I'm showing you right now. So you can take a look, you can read what we have prepared. But let me show you our keynote speakers. Look who we managed to invite. Scott Thornbury is going to be talking about fluency and how to achieve it. I love Scott Thornbury and I could listen to him for ages. There is going to be our wonderful Paul Seligson, who is going to be teaching you pronunciation, or how to teach pronunciation. Jamie Keddy, yay! Jamie Keddy will be with us. Obviously, the master of storytelling, so he will be showing how to train fluency in storytelling, but also other wonderful teachers. I will be there. Gosha will be there. Ania Popławska will be there. There's going to be some fantastic people, fantastic teacher trainers from Poland, Magda Zawadzka, Dr. Monika Cichmińska, Ewa Torebko, Dr. Tomasz Luk, and many, many, many other people who the names are still, we are revealing the names as surprises. So for example, Halina already registered for this conference. Wonderful. So for those of you who are here today with us, first of all, again, I will paste the link. And what is important is that we, always for the live attendees, we have got a promo code. And Halina, please write to me, because if you registered with the price that we have got right now, not in the discount night that we had in May, but now, please write to me and I will do something about the price that you paid. So please write to me. So we have got the promo code for you until midnight today. And if you, there are two options to sign up. There is the option to pay in PLN, so in the Polish currency, and there is an option to pay in euro. And in both of these options, if you register with the promo code webinar, you get either 50 PLN or 10 euro discount today. So don't wait with the registration. I promise that this conference will be amazing. We will be showing you how to deal with fluency, not just in speaking, because fluency is not only about speaking. There is fluency in reading, there is fluency in listening, there is fluency in writing, lots and lots of different aspects that this word combines. And this is the aim of this conference. I am super excited about this conference. I remember when we came up with it with Anya, we were like, yes, this is such a cool idea. So I hope that you will be there with us, because it's going to be fabulous. And Gosia will be there. So that's an advertising in its pure form and version, I think. Wonderful. Okay, listen, it's 10 o'clock. I promise that we are not going to be kind of like cross that timeline. So I'm going to finish. In 2 weeks' time, there is a next webinar in English. Next week for Polish speakers, next week we have on Tuesday the webinar in Polish. And for those of you who don't speak Polish, the next English webinar is in 2 weeks' time. And I think I can already say it's going to be Ania Popławska. So register whenever the information is published on edunation.global webpage. And I think I'm going to go, and I think, Gosia, I'm going to let you go, because it's 10 o'clock p.m. and then you probably have to go to work tomorrow morning. So
no, I have holidays. I'm
there's
a
no work
teacher.
So it's only me who is on workation. A little bit of lavender trip and a little bit of webinar. What a nice combination. What a beautiful day. I started my workation with a lesson, then I went on a lavender trip to the lakes, and now I'm here with you. All right. Thank you very much, people. Have a wonderful night. Have a good night. And I promise you will be there with us for Fluency Now, because it's going to be a hit conference with hit names. And those names are going to fly in the web pages, the webpage of the event. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves, and see you very, very, very soon. Thank you, Gosia.
Thank you.